Well, hello everybody. It's late. I'm tired out east. This is epic updates exactly where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing December 6th. It's really, truly incredible. And there's thoughts I want to get across because I think I'm crossing into kind of a dangerous point to transition here. And it's important to make videos on kind of the things I'm at right now, what this is, this COP27 minus Canada, what people have to know. And I want to get into the first constitution ever written in the history of the world in Boston, Massachusetts. If you've never read it, it is the first constitution the world ever saw that was we the people. Much older than the United States Constitution itself. It was also the template for the American Constitution as it is, and all constitutions nearly post World War II that embodied we the people. If you've never read it, and what I want to get to here is this meeting, this COP debrief that I'm going to, I've made a map of it to try and explain to people on this climate action that's been going on, as a lot of people have looked at since 1993. We've watched Paris Climate, before that Kyoto, we can go before that Rio de Janeiro, and it's an agenda. It's an agenda by wealthy elites, bar none, bar none. It is absolutely all of them minus Russia. Now, Russia is in what's called Apex 1. Folks, this is officially the near entire world. Outside of even nations, there are nations in this that aren't even nations. The Vatican Holy See is in this grouping. 198 nations. There's only legally 193 nations of the UN. This is absolutely all the colonizers of the world versus literally all the colonized and currently being colonized nations. Minus 3 joules, who still absolutely the worst the world's seen, imposed their colonial systems on 3 countries. And yes, they're Commonwealth countries. And yes, I am in one of those countries. In fact, I'm in one of those countries that leads this agenda. But folks, for the first time in the history, since 1993 till today, Canada's been booted out of what I'm going into. I'm going into it. The government of Canada has been kicked out. To explain that, these are the non-apex countries. It starts in Mexico, goes through Central America, all of South America. You jump over to Africa, absolutely all of the Middle East, over to China, through India, down below on the side, all the way across, and upwards of Russia. Russia is ranked Apex 1, but they're non signatory to OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. Canada's in there like a dirty shirt. All three of the colonial abusers, the worst kind, are there, along with UK and all of its assets, France, its assets, and many other European nations. The absolute original 7 colonial powers are all OECD. Likely all 6 of them are going to be there, as well as Russia's going to be there. Russia's not a colonizer, not on the definition of colonialism. I will be speaking to absolutely all the nations through the areas I just listed, all the islands, Pacific and Atlantic. I'm pretty sure it's going to be on First Nations genocide. Maybe it's going to go into the Crown. And the reason I say that, folks, and why I put in this title, I put in Massachusetts, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, 1780. If you've never read it, read it. Read it. You know why? Because in there, this first ever We the People Constitution that would lead to the 13 colonies who all adopted their own constitutions. And there's something about America that is different than everywhere else in the world. Is that the 50 states of the United States of America today get to make all laws and create constitutions, meaning highest law of the land, even above the United States of America itself and its constitution. There are actually very limited amount of federal powers. I mean, there's strong powers, but the reality is, folks, unlike anywhere else in the world, those 50 states, if the federal government doesn't have that defined power, the 50 states themselves can codify it statewide, meaning they can codify it and the federal government can never step over that. Ever. Unlimited, meaning anything not of the American Constitution for their Union of States, because the 13 original colonies already had codified state constitutions. And in the oldest ever We the People state constitution, Massachusetts, Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in there it clearly states you can't, any we the people, citizenry, companies, corporations, they put in property rights, they cement enshrined rights, and they say you can never make any deals with any subjects of any foreign powers. They had already abolished the idea of subjects. That is the birth of the United States of America, even before it, much earlier. Boston, Massachusetts, Tea Party. A lot of people don't like to tell you about the divide of colonialism, the end of colonialism, and the birth of America on those shores. It started in Massachusetts. The American Constitution was crafted off 13 states who already had constitutions, and that was to define their power, a power they learned from the American Indians, the Iroquois Confederacy. Reality, folks. Reality. Russia has a similar system, power of the states. Regardless of a one-party system, the world tries to look at these very few federalisms and define them a certain way. Media does it all the time too, but we're going to hold it there with those two superpowers and federalisms and what I'm going to go into, because the rest of the powers of OECD, who are the apex one of all nations in the world, whether they have status or not. And it's 198 and it's actually 215, but many of the superpowers have holds on territories that they've put in protection since World War II, or have staked claim they will not let them go. And there's no nation in the world to let them go. Either they do it willingly on their own, or it's not done. And a declaration of World War III has to happen. I will be speaking to literally the colonized world and those under colonization right now, from a country still practicing colonialism. In fact, practicing colonialism at the alarming largest rate in the world today, Canada. Canada, bar no other nation, not even the UK. Not even the UK. Now, Charles loves this. His whole family loves this. The royal family is absolutely in there like a dirty shirt. I'm going to articulate all this. I'm going to try to put it all together in federalism and in we the people when I speak at this COP debriefing invited by the UN Secretary General to absolutely all of these nations. There's many of them. I thought the bloc was smaller. I thought it was the 54. It's actually much, much larger than that. Of course, Russia's going to be there. I don't know who paid for me. It costs money because the last one, a lower tier organization, Antonio Guterres wanted $500. A slime ball from, I'm not going to say, but he's the president of the UN. He's a slime ball. But even he's allowed this to go through. I'm going, and that's going to happen. It's incredible. I'm going to get through it. I'm sure it's on First Nations and what Canada's been doing. I'm sure now it's absolutely in relation to what Justin Trudeau did. If anyone's wondering where you can find news links, there's not a whole lot. India, Middle East, so I know that's hard to find. I know with new laws in Canada, I believe it's Bill C-11, the content we get to see is getting more and more sequestered to just Canada. But if you go to CNBC, you can find it. CTV's there too. Attached to CNBC, you will find that same article there. Otherwise, it's been completely scrubbed. Even the conservatives won't talk about it because they're colonial too. They're crowned to His Majesty's official opposition. They're not even talking about it. Americans talk about it. Middle East talks about it. India talks about it. The stories there are not in a whole large, but Canada's been booted on this conference in all the orange colonial states. Least developed countries. China is still in least developed countries, regardless of what people want to believe. Their economic rating is still that of a second world, not of the first. I'll be speaking to all those victims of colonialism. What do you suppose their interest in me would be, and why Trudeau's getting the bench? Well, I know he got the bench for his bullshit tweet, but it's on 15,000. Are there more than 5,400 children's bodies? The number one worst crime that you can commit in the world today since World War II? You better believe there are, and there will be, if all the ground penetrating work is done. Sadly, more than 90% hasn't even been looked at or done. I have a list of all of them. Our team's gone through it all. We don't look for bodies. We just go through each and every residential school, whether they're called different terms, even hostel. We've gone through all of them. So many in the northern treaties, all the way up through Inuit, you can't even get a hold of anybody there. The phone rings, but nobody answers. It's extremely hard. Remote locations, if it even works. If you can even speak the language of the person who answers the phone. This is Canada. This is reality. This is what people need to know. And it's what I think is why I've been invited there. It's why I'm getting a seat there. Russia's certainly going to be there. Absolutely, China's going to be there. But absolutely most of the colonized or under colonization world is going to be there. All the Pacific Atlantic Island countries, most of what I talked about in residential school genocide videos, I did not do them all. They're all there. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's out of nowhere. I can't believe it, but it's happening. That's where I'm going December 6th. And Canada isn't going to be there. I'm going to be there for Canada. God bless everybody. Save this video if something happened. I'm not saying there's going to be, but it's been kind of a weird week, maybe 2 weeks, and with this, I don't know. I don't know. Not going to crop my pants just yet. I'm going to work through this, but it's very close to tipping some scales here. I get a big message out, and wish me luck. I'm going to work on it as I work here in Ontario. I'm going to keep working through this all the way up to the 6th. I'll do videos, I'll do presentations, but please, friends, followers, go read 1780, the first We the People Constitution ever crafted in the world. Massachusetts, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, 1780. You will find where they say no, it's illegal to do this kind of business with countries, with subjects. They were talking about Canada and all the rest. And of course, we know what happened. There was the War of Independence. The 13 colonies won, later becoming the 50 states today, and a tremendous amount of colonial wars, not matched by any other country in the world besides Africa. And you see the devastation to Africa. We can go through American history and really show everybody a truth that really has always been there. Anyone can read the real history. It's not hidden. It's just, it's a small pile, and a whole bunch of other piles of information overshadow it like a big high rise. And it's like, this is just fluff. This is the real content. Why is everyone focusing on this? Well, all the colonial superpowers, the financial system out of the UK, that's what I see. The European Union, the rest of the colonial world. That's what I see. I see Democrats clearly on the side of slavery. That's what I see worldwide. Not so much with Republicans. They need to come to terms with a lot of things. I don't see Donald Trump successful tonight. He made his announcement. I looked at all the comments. It was the top viewed video today. And when you read the comments and you see all the likes and loves and not so happy, you clearly see even Republicans are going, listen, you're damaged goods. You've got too much negative. Doesn't matter how much good you did. You're too polarizing at this point. Nobody wants to hear about China virus anymore. Nobody wants to hear about election fraud. Nobody wants to go through all these great and wonderful things you did that we all know didn't happen now. They haven't happened in midterms. It's, you need to bring somebody else forward. Invest your time, energy on the right candidate. I think that's DeSantis. He doesn't do the negative talk. He goes with the flow, uses the state power that he's learned. There's lots of governors in the Republican Party who've learned the division of power. They've been governors for a long time. They know what they can do. It's why Florida didn't have any restrictions. That's power of state. They can constitute those things. Federal government in USA is limited to a short list. In their constitution, they even state the superpowers of each state and what they get to do beyond the federal government, just like the Iroquois Confederacy. It's why First Nations can organize for war, but yet develop such distinct and culturally different tribes and nations. And still, when it came to doing the right thing together, they knew what they'd come together for, but they allowed each other so much developmental room and even worked together with trade. That's what America got from the first peoples, the American Indians. Canada, same thing for Russia. People can say it's not true, but it is. Read Massachusetts. Yes, Boston's the highlight there, obviously, with the War of Independence, and in Boston, all the patriots that were shot fighting with snowballs and bottles, and the British opened up and executed them. That is what started the revolution. If you ever think the reason why you never give up your guns is because that is the lesson of what happens when you try to fight for we the people. You get shot down even when you're unarmed. That's Britain, who we don't like guns for our citizens, guns for the crown, for His Majesty. Climate change is the center of all colonial evil today. It's a great trick. It's a great way of producing a socialism and creating a world of subjects, making you all down, making the pyramid fatter at the bottom, narrower at the top, meaning all that wealth to the top, and it's always in the hands of the same few. I can tell you, leading Democrats, guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Is it dangerous in Canada for me right now? Don't know. We'll see. God bless everybody. Good night. Share, share, share. Get it out there. These are things, this is what people need to read and look at. Go read. It's not even a very long constitution. It's not even a very long constitution. Read it. Find a part about trading and dealing with subjects of other countries. It was already we the people, not the subjects, citizens of that state. Bye now.